Alright, so friends, having created this particular straight line, the next thing I'm going to trace right now is this particular shape over here. Alright, so friends, what I'm going to do right now is pick my pen tool. Alright, so I'm not going to be getting this exactly perfect, but then I'm going to be just so you get an idea. Alright, so friends, you can see over here what I did was I click on that a particular point. Let me go back again. Alright, so what I'm doing is this. I clicked on this particular point over here. Alright, having clicked on this particular point, and then I come to the next point where I want to trace. So I just come over here, maybe this point, I click here, and then now when I click, I don't release the mouse. I'm holding the left mouse button, and then I'm going to maybe hold shift if I choose to. But I don't need to hold shift. I can just release my shift, and then I just click on that left mouse button, and I just draw this line. You can see over here, friends. When I'm satisfied, I don't know if you can see the line on my PC, but then when I'm satisfied with the point, I just release. All right, you can see over here I have that particular curve, and then I can come over here in this particular section over here and click, and when I click, I don't release my left mouse button. I still hold my left mouse button, and I'm looking to see if I'm fitting my line with the line that already exists, and I just left click and release it. All right, you can see over there, friends, I already have this shape. All right, so I can come over here and then left click and still holding my left mouse button. I'll just do something like this. All right, so I just draw something like this. All right, so friends, you can see over here how I'm not getting this perfectly, I know, but then just so you get an idea, it's going to take a little more time to get this exactly perfect. All right, so I'm just going to show you, this is what I'm just doing, is showing you an example of how this works. All right, so friends, you can see over here what I have is another shape of what we have over here. So I don't know if you're getting the idea of the pen tool, but what I did was I clicked on this particular cursor over here. I clicked on this particular point over here, clicked, and then I released my mouse, clicked somewhere else, then I still holding my left mouse button. All right, let me go over it again. All right, so I clicked over here, then I still holding my left mouse. I released my left mouse button for now, then I clicked over here, holding down my left mouse button. I don't release it, I drag until I'm okay or satisfied with the shape. All right, so now I come over here, then click again, not releasing my left mouse button. I just go like this until I'm satisfied with the shape. Right. The next thing is to come over to this end, click, don't release until you're satisfied with the shape. Right. I'm just going up, I'm just dragging my mouse. You just move your mouse until you're satisfied with the shape, and then you can release. Alright, so whichever way you're going to still get something a little bit similar. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be doing right now will show you how we did this particular shape over here. So I'm going to still click my pen tool and trace this little by little. I click on this section. Oh, still connected with that other point, so I'm going to just release that. All right, so friends, I can just create a new layer by coming over here and clicking new layer. All right, so I can now click on this and I can drop this on a new layer. So I click on this particular point. All right, now creating a new layer means I want to work on this. I want to create a new shape on a different layer. All right, before I was selected on this layer, that's why I was still making reference to this particular shape. All right, so now that I clicked on new layer, all right, friends, I will create a new layer above this, and I can work with this. All right, so I just click on this pen tool right now. All right, so I just come over here, click here. Now don't forget, don't bother yourself with a layer or no new layer, whatever. Just do what I'm doing. All right, subsequently I'm going to show you how we work with layers and all of that. The goal is for you to just follow me little by little. When we're talking about pen tool, make sure your mind is focused on the pen tool. When we're talking about something else, make sure you're focused on that particular pen. All right, subsequently I'm going to show you everything that there is in Photoshop. All right, so don't bother yourself about some other things I'm doing right now. All right, so at this juncture I'm going to click on this pen tool, and then I click on this particular shape. Then I come over here, this edge, I click over here. All right, now you can see over here my fill color and stroke color have been distorted. All right, so I'm going to click on this drop down. You know how I remove the fill color? Just click on this shape over here, and then the stroke color I will drop down. Now you can see I still have my yellow color, which is one of the recent color I just used. So I click on this. Now you can see my stroke. All right, I can increase the size, which you already know, the size of this stroke. You can see. All right, so I can increase the size. I can even change the style or whatever, but that's not necessary right now. All right, so I come over here, having clicked here, I just release my mouse, come down here again, click. All right, I release my mouse, come over here, click. All right, I release my mouse. Now, if you click and don't release your mouse, now you're going to create a curved shape. That's one thing with the pen tool. If you click and you're holding your left mouse button and you're just moving it like this, you're going to create a curved shape. But if you release your mouse and click on another area, you're going to create a straight line. All right, so something like this. Now I release my mouse and click here. You can see I have a straight line. I come over here and click here. You can see I have that straight line here. I don't mind me, friends. I'm just doing a rough walk, not doing anything too fantastic. All right, so I'm just playing around with this basically. Alright, so you can see, come over here and I click here. Alright, then I come here, click here, straight line, come over here, click here, straight line. Alright, so friends, that's basically how you can use the pencil to trace some element here in Photoshop. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do right now is trace this particular element. Now what we are doing right now may not seem too important, but then subsequently you are going to know how we use it to cut out images in the background. Alright, so I'm going to click on this, come over here, click here, then come over here. Now you are seeing, now I'm holding my left mouse button. I'm not releasing it because I want to create a curved shape. I'm not releasing it because I want to create a curved shape, and so I have to hold it. Alright, so this is what I'll do. Then I can increase the size of this. I can just increase the size to whatever I want. As you can see what I have here. Alright, so I can come over. Having done that, I can come here and then drag this like this. Alright, so that's how we use the pen tool to do this. Alright, so friends, with that done now, I'm going to do the next one, which is this last shape. I'm going to show you how we can trace this particular shape, and this one is going to be a little bit more technical, and this way I'm going to be showing you something else with the pen tool. So I'm going to click over here. Okay, I'm still selected on the previous image, so I'm just going to create a new layer, and definitely I'm going to make this no type. Then I can just choose a color yellow. Right, now on this new layer I want to do something else. Alright, so I'm going to just click here. Alright friends, and then having clicked here, what I'm going to do next is come over here. Because it's a curved shape, I don't have to release my left mouse button, I still have to hold it. As you can see over here, we have a curved shape, and I can increase the size or the width size to something a little bit more larger. Right, maybe something like this. Alright, so friends, I come over here and click here. Right, so even if I just automatically click here with releasing my left mouse button, I will still have a curved shape. The reason being that this is already a curved shape, and so whatever I have here will get replicated on this other section. Right, so friends, at this juncture I don't have to hold my left mouse button. I just have to come here and click. Right, so you can see I have a straight line, and then over here I just come over here and do something like this. Okay, right, and come over here and click once. Right, so there are different ways in which you can trace this. You have to take out your time and learn how to trace elements here in Photoshop. Right, so this is what I have. Alright, so I have this. I just come over here and quickly do this. I want to show you something, friends. That's why I'm going back here. Right, I want to use this opportunity to show you something. Alright friends, now look over here. If I come here and I click and I'm still holding my left mouse button and I'm dragging and I'm going this way, now you're going to see I'm going to get something a little bit different. I don't know if you will encounter such problem using pen tool. Alright, so at this juncture right now I'm trying to make a curve. Right, whatever curve I'm trying to make that is going to be on this other section, on this other axis, it will move this way. The line will have to bend this way. Right, in that way I'm going to have a smooth curve. But when it's not moving, when the curve is not this way and it's the opposite direction, sometimes I'll have something very ugly. For example, something like this, because this curve must first of all move like this, then it turns zigzag in a zigzag manner, and then it starts moving this other way. But this time around I don't want the curve to move this way, to bend this way to the right. I just want to cut the curve here and then make it continue the same thing to the right hand side. Let me quickly show you what I mean by this. I'm going to show you with another different example. It's not here, but let's say I want to draw something like this. Watch what's going on, friends. You can see the difference over here. Now what I'm doing now is something a little bit different. Let me just quickly show you. Alright, so friends, let's say I want to draw something like this. I want to trace a shape like this. Now this type of shape becomes very much complex, and that's similar to what we have here. Alright, so friends, at this juncture right now, to trace a shape like this, I believe you can see my work. Alright, so I'm just going to click on this pen tool. Alright, then let me create a new layer. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so friends, I'm going to change this stroke color to maybe black so that you can see it effectively. Alright, so I'm going to click on this pen tool. Now if I click here and then I come over here, you know how we do it. I have to hold my left mouse button as I drag, and now when I've gotten the shape and I'm okay with it, I have to release it. Alright, so let me increase the size of this stroke. All right, not too much, just okay like this. All right, so friends, now if I try to draw another point on this section, on this axis, right, it's different when I'm drawing on that point here. All right, it goes this way, the curve should bend this way if I'm drawing it over here. All right, but if I'm drawing it this other way, it should be the opposite. It should bend. If I'm drawing it on this other axis, it should be the opposite, which is like this. All right, it must bend like this. It must bend this way on this other axis. All right, so friends, what happens if I don't want that shape to be that way? Now what I can do is to cut this anchor point. I can cut this line. This line is what is detecting the shape. All right, I can just hold my Alt key, and with my Alt key clicked, I can come to this section where I have a box here, a little box. I don't know if you can see this box here, but I have a little box here. I can just come over here. That's like a square box. I can come over here holding my Alt key. I click on this. Now I've cut that particular line. All right, I have cut away the line, and with that line cut off now, I have freed my anchor point. I have freed my anchor point, and now if I come over here and click, you can see the difference. I don't have a line now moving like this, right? But previously, if this anchor point was still here, and I come here and click, and then I drag, you're going to have something a little bit different. Sorry, you're going to have something a little bit different. All right, with this anchor point there. All right, what happened is this: the other anchor point was what gets deleted. Right, this other anchor point was what get deleted, right? Because if you're coming to draw a line on this section, all right, what gets deleted will be this upper anchor point. All right, if you are drawing the line, what gets deleted is this upper anchor point. All right, you can see over there the upper anchor point gets deleted. If I'm drawing a line now under here, the upper anchor point gets deleted. All right, so the upper anchor point is what gets deleted. But if I'm drawing a line underneath here, for example, the upper anchor point still gets deleted. But then what I want to get deleted in both cases will be the lower anchor point. By default, this particular line over here, this will get deleted. All right, this is what gets deleted. All right, so some other thing I could do is I could edit this anchor point. I can just come here, click here, and drag this and make it smaller. All right, I can make it smaller, I can make it longer, I can make it this shape. If I make it this other shape, now if I click here and try to draw another point, if I click here and try to draw another point, you can see it's going to my shape is going to lie on that particular line, that anchor point. All right, so don't bother yourself with all of these anchor points and how it works and all of that. But for now, friends, I just want you to concern yourself with how we can delete this particular anchor point. I'm going to show you how we can edit this one later and all of that. All right, but right now I want to delete this particular anchor point. All right, because as I draw my shape over here, you can see that I'm having something very wrong, and this is not the shape I want to draw. All right, so I want to draw something that moves like this, the same shape. I want to draw something similar, the same shape. All right, now friends, I believe you'll be wondering what I'm doing here over here. All right, at this juncture right now, friends, let me show you something. If I go back one time, now see, as I'm trying to draw this shape, I'm not connecting to this previous anchor point, so I have to come back and then click here once. If I click here once, then I have to come over here and drag this particular pen tool. Now it's going to work, because sometimes you may go back with Alt Ctrl Z. Remember, the way we do undo in Photoshop is Alt then Ctrl and Z. Alt Ctrl and Z is how we do undo in Photoshop. Alright, so if you want to undo an element in Photoshop, you have to do Alt Ctrl Z. If I just click here and try to draw a new point, see, the point is not continuing from the last anchor point, so I have to go back, Alt Ctrl Z. Then I have to click on this center here. You can see my cursor changes. If I click on this particular center here, just left click on there, and then I'm telling Photoshop I want to continue from that anchor point, and now Photoshop is going to pick the next anchor point from that particular point. Something I could do is to delete this bottom anchor, this bottom line. So I just hold Alt and click on this, and now I can just come over here and drag it this way, and now I have this shape. Alright, so I come over here again, Alt, hold your Alt. You can see I have a minus sign. Click on this, and then I come over here and draw it this way. And now you can see, friends, I have this particular line replicated right now. Alright, so friends, that's basically how we can use Photoshop. Alright, sometimes, most of the time, you're going to have to be using this Alt and delete this anchor point, then continue on that shape. Alright, most of the time you have to do that. Alright, so friends, that's basically how we can use the current Photoshop rather to trace elements. So in this example that we have over here, what I really need to do right now is I hope this is a shape, right? So I have to just click on this particular shape, right? So what I have to do right now, friends, is this. I just need to come over here. If I click here now, for example, if I click here, I'm not continuing from this former point. You can see there's a disconnect between this new point that I'm in now and the former point. So there's no continuation. As you can see over here, I'm not continuing from this point. So Photoshop is not continuing from that point. So what I have to do, first of all, is having clicked on the particular shape, I have to come over here. All right, having selected the layer, I have to come over here and click on this particular box. All right, telling Photoshop I want to continue from this particular point. All right, so I just come over here, and as I draw the shape, I'm not getting the right shape. All right, so I have to delete this particular anchor point because it's distorting my shape. So I hold my Alt key, then press the center, this particular rectangular box. Then if I press that particular icon, I just draw this, and now you can see my shape is smooth, very much smooth than it was when this anchor point was still there. All right, so I can just come over here and then click here, and then come over here, and this time around I don't have anchor point here. I just clicked here. So if you click once, you won't have these lines. All right, so I can just come over here and just drag, and here we go. All right, so friends, that's basically how you can use Photoshop pen tool here in Photoshop. I can take a whole day teaching you about pen tool. All right, pen tool is one of the most basic and most important tool that you must understand fully in order to work with Photoshop effectively. All right, so friends, at this juncture, I'm just going to allow you to take out your time and then practice what you've learned. Thank you so much. All right, so right now I'm going to be showing you a practical case for the pen tool. So I'm just going to go to File and open a particular picture, and I'm going to show you how we use the pen tool to cut out backgrounds. All right, so friends, I have a picture here of me. All right, so this is a picture of myself. All right, so friends, at this juncture, I'm going to be showing you how. All right, so how we can use the pen tool to cut out background. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just pressing Z on my keyboard. I hold press Z on my keyboard. It brings out this zoom magnifier. So I just click and then click. If I hold Alt, watch what happens over here with the zoom tool. Now if I hold Alt, it comes to a negative sign. Now if I press on my document, still holding Alt down, all right, on my keyboard, you see I can go back, and then if I release the Alt, you can see it becomes positive. Then I can zoom in, and then if I hold Alt and press left click, I zoom out. All right, so what I want to do right now is zoom in so I can show you how we can trace this particular image using the pen tool. All right, so first, so let's assume someone just gives you something like this and say, help me cut out the background, help me change the background, please. I really need you. I don't like the background of this particular image. I just want you to help me change the background. So how do you change the background of such an image? All right, so that's what I'm going to be showing you right now using the pen tool. All right, so the first thing I want to do right now is having been able to import this or open this image here in Photoshop. Having been able to open the image here in Photoshop, the next thing we're going to do right now is to trace the image. So what I'm going to do right now, you can see over here as I open the image, the background is locked. So I'm going to double tap on this to unlock the background. I can change this. I can say myself, just to give it a name. All right, so I can just say myself and say okay. All right, so now you can see I have a new name called myself. All right, so I just have to zoom in and then press my pen tool. Now with my pen tool selected, friends, what I have to do right now is I can choose to put a stroke color. I can choose not to, but I don't need a stroke color because I want to cut out the background. So I don't need a stroke color. I'm going to come over here and put none. I don't need a fill color, still none. All right, so this is how I'm going to be working with. Remember these various options. The last video I told you about these various options, and these other various options, they're all the same thing. All right, so friends, at this juncture, I don't want both stroke, I don't want fill, I just want a line there. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is zoom in on this, press my pen tool or P on my keyboard. The way I switch between pen tool and zoom tool is P or Z. P for pen, Z for zoom. So if I press Z on my keyboard, I immediately move to zoom tool, and then I can zoom in. I can hold my Alt key and zoom out. All right, if I press P on my keyboard, I immediately switch to pen tool. All right, so that makes my work a little bit faster. All right, so first let's quickly trace this image. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to press my pen tool or press P on my keyboard. I come over here and then I click here. Now with this selected, I just come over to this section and then draw a line like this, and you can see I hold Alt and delete that anchor point. You're getting a reason why I'm deleting those anchor points. I love to delete the anchor points so that it will allow my pen tool to be free enough to move. Right, so when cutting background, I love to delete those anchor points. If I don't delete this anchor point, for example, I have an anchor point here, I don't delete it. If I come to the back of this section and I try to draw another point, you can see what's going on here. I don't know if you can see what's going on, but I'm not getting the right shape. I'm not getting the right shape. Right, so let me just quickly show you with stroke. Let me quickly stroke this. Now you can see I'm not getting the right shape over here, which is very, very bad. All right, so let me just take away this stroke. I just wanted to show you so that you can see it. All right, so I'm going to hold my Alt, hold my Control, press my Z key. All right, so at this juncture, I love to always delete one of the anchor points. So once I draw a shape like this and I'm seeing two lines, I just come to the middle, hold my Alt and click on this box. All right, that gets deleted. Now I can easily trace this. Now I see two anchor points. I come to the middle, Alt, press delete. All right, that's how I usually trace images here in Photoshop. I come over here, I left click and drag, not releasing it. I see two anchor points. I can just come here, hold my Alt, press the middle. Alright, so that's how I usually go with tracing out images here in Photoshop. So I hold my Alt and then press delete on the middle. Alright, so for instance, I hope you're getting the idea behind this. I come over here, hold my Alt, I just left click and then drag. Alright, hold my Alt and delete this anchor point. I come to this section here. Alright, I just click and then I drag until I get the shape I want. Then I can hold my Alt and press delete. The same thing over here. I come to this section, I left click and drag. I'm doing a rough work here. I can take my time to go bit by bit. Right, for example, I can come over here first, just take it bit by bit, and come here and left click and drag. Make sure you always left click and drag, left click and drag, left click and drag, left click and drag, left click and drag. Alright, so that's how we work with the pen tool. Alright, so I'm going to be a little bit faster here, friends, so just forgive me. Alright, so I just left click and drag, and when I'm okay with the shape I want, I just come to the middle here, hold my Alt key and then press this middle to delete one of the anchor points. Now I can come back here and drag the shape. Make sure you always go to the middle and hold your Alt key and press delete. You can see I have my ear. I just come to the middle, hold my Alt, press delete. Alright, so that's how I work with the pen tool. Come over to the middle here, hold my Alt, press delete. Alright, this section, okay, come to the middle, hold my Alt key, press not delete. Come to the middle and click on this particular rectangle here. Alright, so come over here, hold my Alt, come to the middle here and press this rectangle. Alright, come over here, hold my Alt, come to the middle and press this over here. Alright, so it's quite simple to work with this. Come to the middle, hold my Alt and press this. Alright, come over here, left click and drag, you get the shape you want. Come to the middle, hold your Alt key and then press this particular rectangle over there. Alright, so I come over here and come here and drag until I get the shape I want. You can always zoom out. Remember, you can just hold your Z and hold your Alt and zoom out. Alright, so I'm just going to draw this shape the way I want it. I'm going to hold my Alt and delete this. Alright, and then hold my Alt and delete this. Alright, I want to hold my Alt and delete this. Alright, hold my Alt and delete this. Alright, so if you're beginning, I would advise you to always hold your Alt and delete one of those lines, so that you'll be much more flexible with your pen tool. Alright, when you get to certain stages, trust me, there are times when you don't really need to always hold your Alt and delete and the likes. But for now, just hold your Alt and delete. For example, a case like this, I really don't need to do that much. For your sake, just have to do it. Alright, so friends, at this juncture right now, you can see. Let's assume I'm okay with this. I'm going to just press my Z, then hold my Alt, then zoom out. That was what I did. Right, I can release my Alt key and press this to zoom in. Alright, so then the next thing I'm going to do is press P on my keyboard to bring back my pen tool. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do right now is just draw a straight line, because I'm outside my working area. It doesn't matter how I draw. Anything I do here, it doesn't affect my design. Alright, so I can just come to this section, and then still on this pen tool, or maybe I don't want this. I just come over here, come to this section, and then continue from this section. Alright, so I come over here and draw something just like this, and come over here and draw something like this. Alright, so let me quickly zoom out so that you can see what I'm doing. Then if you make a mistake, what you need to do is hold your Alt key, press your Control key and then Z, and it will take you back, right? Multiple times. It will take you back 1 step, 2 times, 3 times, whatever. Alright, so I'm going to just do this, then I hold this, then I can zoom out again, and I just hold my pen. I'm just going to do this a little bit fast and rough, so I'm just going to do this, and now we see. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just holding my pen to click, drag until I get the shape, come to the middle, hold my Alt and press the middle to delete one of those lines. Right, so as I can be flexible enough with my pen tool. Right. One of the success in learning to, one of the major things you need to learn in order to be successful in working with Photoshop, you will have to be learning how to cut out background. Right? If you don't know how to cut out background, you may not work with Photoshop, trust me. Right? So you need to know how to cut out background, right? Because most of the time you have to cut out background in Photoshop. So I'm just doing this. I know I'm not getting this exactly too perfect that way, but just to give you an idea of how you can practicalize what we've learned, right? So that's just going to be fast release. Alright. So just Control Enter this, friends, and then with that Control Enter, as you can see over here, I have some crispy lines right around the image. Alright, so with this crispy line around that image, I can just cut out the background. Something I can do is, now you can see I have what is called shape 1 selected. I don't need to select the shape 1. Alright, if you're working with the pen tool and then you choose something like parts, alright, you won't have another layer called shape 1. But if you choose shape, you should have another layer called shape 1. Alright, so in my case, it was kept as shape. In yours, it may be kept as part or whatever. Alright, so if it's selected as shape and you have a different layer here, this layer is already highlighted. I can't cut the background on this layer because my image is not on this layer. This is my image, so I have to come back, click here, that is to come down on the particular image. Alright, so with this crispy line already selected, friends, I just click on this particular image and I press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Alright, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. You can see I have a new layer on top of this particular image called myself. Alright, so I can just hide this one, close the eye, and now you can see I have my image over here, friends. I can just drop these two by pressing V on my keyboard, or just click over there. Alright, so with this right now, friends, I can zoom out to show you what I've done. As you can see over here, friends, I've been able to cut out the background of this particular image using the pen tool. Alright, so subsequently I'm going to show you how to fill in another different background, how to fill in a color, and how to do all of that. But for now, just so you know, alright, so this is how we can do. I can delete this shape now. I just delete the shape and allow this to be. So you can see this is the image. I can move it around. I just have this image on an empty background. I can choose whatever background I want to fill it in with. Alright, so friends, that's a practical way in which you can use the pen tool to cut out background in Photoshop. Without wasting much of your time, friends, I would like you to practice with the photo that I've already been sent to you. Or if you have a separate photo, something similar, you can use your photo to practice. Or you can download the picture. I'll be dropping the link below so that you can get the same image and use it to do the same thing that I've done over here. Alright, so friends, without wasting much of your time, I'd like you to practice what you've learned.